And then it goes 3, 2, 1, 0. Welcome everyone to another Genshin Impact Abyss video. This time I went, well, as I always do, I went ahead and cleared floor 11 because that's not very difficult. And yeah, okay, so I'm pretty positive this is kind of the same one as the last one. I remember this like water horse dude. Um I know I used the knave to beat him last time, so I was like, you know what, like I have established the knave to be good in that fight, and Layla as well because she can like freeze him or whatever. And so I was like, okay, like I'll bring Layla and the knave and Yulan and Xingqiu because I think that is the last team I used to beat it. So I was like, you know what, like this is tried and tested, so we'll go with these peeps. And then for this first half, I don't remember if it's the same exact one as the last time. There wasn't really any like enemy here to like really jog my memory to be like, oh yeah, like that enemy stood out to me, right? So I went with the good old reliable Hu Tao plunge team, and I brought Hu Tao, Farina, Cloud Retainer, and Shilonin for that team. And I was reading somewhere that because of Farina's like damage boost, like you don't lose out on damage basically from Hu Tao for not being under 50% HP, and then the plunging damage, like makes up for some of that too. So I went in with this team pretty confident of their capabilities. I was like, you know what, like these guys got it. I do like plunging gameplay, like when I use my Navia. I do like playing plunge Navia, and I wish there was like another plunge in it. I know we have Xiao and Gaming or Gaming, but Gaming isn't too fun, and I don't have Xiao, so I do it with Navia, which is always super fun to just plunge on Navia. And that team is super fun to play. I wish I had her C6. That'd be even more awesome. But yeah, I wish I Loki could have brought maybe what's his name, Kazuha here to like group them a little bit instead of like Shidonen. But then I would have two VV users, and then I would have missed out on that Scroll of Cinder Hero something from Shinonen, so I couldn't miss out on that. So I had to just bring them like this. But yeah, I mean, this team was like super fun. Like, I remember when Farina came out, I was like, I don't know if I've told this story before. This kind of sounds familiar. Maybe I've told it to my friends. But when Farina came out, I was like, oh, like if there was like a good like AOE healer that like just healed off field, that would be super nice. Because Bennett only heals like the on-field character, and you want all those stacks for Farina to get the max damage out of her. And then I found out that Jean could do it. I was like, oh, like Jean like can full heal her party with her ult. And I think you have to be like in the circle though, right? Like circle impact. But like regardless, it still heals everyone, right? So I was like, okay, like I can throw VV shred on her, or the VV set to get the shred, and it'll work, right? I was like, okay, like I built my Jean, I had my Farina team, or I had my Farina and my Jean, right? Always paired together, essentially just like ready for like any main DPS essentially to come in and take the spotlight. But then Cloud Retainer got like announced, and it's like, oh, she's a animal like healer, and I was like, oh wow, like that's actually kind of like needed, right? Like I was like, this is actually really good. And I'm not saying you need her for Farina to work, absolutely not. But like it just makes her like easier to use, I guess. Makes her easier to get all those stacks. And I was like, okay, like let's see what Cloud Retainer has, And she came around, and I was like, okay, like her design is super cool. Like her design is sick, right? She has some relevance in like the story in Leeway, So I was like, okay, like she's a character we know, it's established. And I was like, you know what, like let me just like throw some like multis at her. And I think I got her in like my first four multis, winning the 50-50, And in my brain I was like, you know what, like I'll throw like a couple multis at her, and if like I lose the 50-50, whatever. And if I win it, then I just leave with a free character essentially. And yeah, within four multis I had her, so I never regret that I pulled for her, because she is like super fun, like, and she like again like she makes plunging gameplay like more like viable and usable. I just wish they would add maybe like one or two more like plunging DPS, like that'd be super awesome, and that way we can have a little bit more variety. because I know people can play Plunge Diluc and Zereth. Actually, I think he was telling me that Diluc has like the highest plunge damage multiplier. But again, I'm not too sure about that. But he said, and he is very versed in Genshin, so I'll believe him. But like even like on Hu Tao, like the damage is insane sometimes. You know, like 150k is just plunging. You know, and like again, I don't use Zhao, but I can only assume you know he gets like that much better. So yeah, it'd be nice to have like one more just to mess around with. Oh, and in gaming, you know, I'm dabble too much in gaming, origami gaming, if that makes sense. But I know he was like pretty good when he like came out, I believe. But yeah, that's it. That's enough about Miss Cloud Retainer. Just I don't know. She's cool. She's awesome. Uh, Maybe she could have made it to like the top 11 characters, my Genshin characters. But I don't know actually. I'd have to like, nah, I don't think she would have. She'd been close. She'd been like in maybe top 20, but definitely not like top 11. That's for sure. But yeah, this wasn't like too difficult. The ending gets pretty crazy, and I think it's probably like either the craziest or the second craziest ending I've had in any abyss up to like this day. You know, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But yeah, like I was saying, none of these enemies really stood out to me. Like none of it, like at least in the first half. In the first half, these enemies seemed kind of like simple, you know, just like regular mob units. Nothing really worrisome. Like a lot of the time, like they would just die before they would even load in. And I was actually kind of surprised to see some like hilly trolls like around these parts. You know, usually it's always like bigger mobs or like the ruin guards. You know, just different stuff than just like regular hilly trolls. But this guy like was a little difficult, I would say. I know that when you do like when you jump, this guy like sends you to the moon basically. So I wasn't really too worried about like that happening to me, especially because I'm playing the Knave here, just absolutely deleting this dude. The one that is annoying though is the one with the shield that you have to like do plunging attacks to break it. I think that's what it is. That guy's annoying. Like that guy is super annoying. Cause like there'll be times where like you'll do the plunges, like for example, I think I was doing it with Hu Tao last time, and my plunges would run out of uh like the enhanced skill, like or so okay so on Hu Tao I would pop her skill and then start plunging right like after getting my buffs and stuff, and like it would always run out like literally one plunge or as my like skill timer run out, right? So I could literally not DPS because like he just would not be broken, and it sucked a little bit, but I would much rather fight this other giant robot dude that kind of looks the same. Well, they don't look exactly the same, but they have a similar aesthetic, if that makes sense. But yeah, this guy got beat fairly easily, and here I'm just making sure I have some energy left over. And okay, so beat these guys. And then here, I took, like, I tried a couple of attempts with the same teams, but as you can see, there's not the same people here. So basically what happened, right, is like, I tried it with the Hu Tao team, and I tried it with the Knave team, and I was close. I would say, like, I was, like, fairly close to beating it. I was maybe, like, off, like, 5, like, 10 seconds, you know. Just depended on how this first half went with Hu Tao, and, like, if these dudes don't get in your way of the plunge, like, sometimes I would jump, but like I would hit these dudes like head because their neck is so long, and then Hu Tao just wouldn't like jump or plunge, and then I'd lose that in a couple seconds. Or I didn't have enough energy like at the start of the fight, so like at the start, I always had to like build up energy to like start like my attacks, you know, obviously. And with this team, it's a lot easier to get that energy, right? Like I got the rotation down, like I was like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do, this is what I'm gonna go into, and it just made it easier. And then Miss Clorin just like absolutely destroys everything IMO. So this one wasn't too hard, but that's why there's a team change here. You know how like I've always been like the firm believer of like if something ain't working, go like retry it, right? Like when me and my buddies play like Souls games, if let's say I'm stuck on a boss for more than like an hour, I'll be like, you know what, like I'm gonna go do something else, and I'm not just gonna go like I'm not just gonna sit here like just getting absolutely like destroyed for like another hour, you know. And I'll go do other stuff. I'll go like I call them training arcs. Maybe I'll like try and find a different weapon, or like maybe I'll level up a little bit. An item, maybe, you know, who knows. And I'll go on a training arc, you know, and then come back and just beat it like within the first couple tries. But right here, I kind of kept the same team essentially. I just added in Bennett, and I think this was the right choice adding in Bennett because my Knave started doing a lot more damage. Some of these Vapes were hitting crazy. And then here, I actually kept Layla's ulti, so whenever he goes into like the water mode thing or whatever, he just gets frozen instantly. So I think it's like right here, yeah, like just pop it. I pop Yolan's thing because I know he's going to be frozen. And then I do a little bit of damage, which I should not have done. And then I just do this with Bennett, and then boom. And I just get free DPS on this sleeping dude now. And you'll see why this is crazy, right? So right here, I'm already kind of like, okay, like I can beat this. I just need a couple right rotations, right? So then right here, I'm like, okay, like let me Layla do this. Like let me use my Layla skill. And he froze like back to back, which kind of threw me off. I was like, wait, like you're not supposed to be frozen yet, you know? So this definitely threw me off this part, and I feel like this is kind of where like I lost time because like it was just so unexpected. I was just like getting ready to do my rotation, you know, and be ready for it. And then right here, I couldn't get him to like fall down. You know, I started panicking a little bit. I was like, oh no, I'm almost out of time. But luckily he doesn't do too much damage to me here, so it was like a little bit fine. But look, I'm here. I'm down to like 10 seconds. He freezes, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I need to like get in this DPS like right now. Like my rotation's messed up, but like I got it. And then it goes 3, 2, 1, 0, 659, and it gives it to me. It like gave it to me. It actually gave it to me. Like there's like a second or two buffer, and I guess like I got it. It must have been like 659.99 or something insane. But yeah, that part was absolutely insane. Like it was crazy, and I mean, I wasn't like I wouldn't have been mad if I didn't get it. I was like kind of happy. I was like, oh heck yeah, now I don't have to go redo it. But yeah, that was a crazy part. But again, everyone, quick short video today just to get something out. Genshin Abyss. Everyone, thank you for watching. Trolls, you know the drill. The drill or the drill. Don't get blocked.